Hello, uh, Frackville, Ashland, Father Miller here. You might have already heard the news on Facebook or on the media, uh, wherever, that starting June 1st, we're able to have some sort of public mass once again. So it's been a while, almost, well, about 2 months since I've been saying mass in an empty church. Great to have you back. Unfortunately, though, it's not back entirely. Let me explain. So, I have some new ideas, at least during the yellow phase of what we have. Now, when we move to green, maybe things will be different. But we have to go over some things here quick in order to get started. Some things we have to know. The first is here. Let me bring this up here. That there still is no Sunday obligation for Mass. So if you're feeling sick, please stay home. If you feel anxious and stressed about it, and you're just still not handling going out in public, don't torture yourself. Stay home. Relax. It's okay. There's no obligation right now for Sunday Mass. It is what it is. So if you don't feel comfortable going out, then you don't have to go out. That's pretty much the point. So that's probably the most important point to remember in all this. Here's where I guess I don't know if I should apologize or what, but we're gonna have to change the Mass times. Okay, now here's why. Okay, here's my idea. Let me see if I can. I don't know if that's showing or not here. But the first Sunday Mass is going to be June 7th. The first weekday Mass is June 1st. Okay, Monday, June 1st. Right now, I'm just talking about Sunday Mass. Okay, we're going to just keep the regular daily Mass schedule, but I think we'll start at 8:30. All right, so I'll make sure to get that announcement out there. So June 1st, 8:30 in the morning. At Ashland, because we don't have Mass in Frackville on Mondays. But it's going to be up in the main church. We're not going to use the daily Mass chapel. So I'll explain that later on. Maybe not in this video, but in another one. But it's very important here. So starting June 7th, we're going to go to the 28th with this schedule. And then we're going to evaluate and then change things around. But notice that we're going to have a 4 o'clock at St. Charles in Ashland and then a 4:15 at St. Vincent. So obviously, myself and Father Francis will do one of those two Masses. The idea, the mentality behind it is we're only supposed to have 25% capacity. Okay, so that's why I'm saying that things are going to be different. So my idea is if we have two Masses roughly at the same location, even though they're not exactly the same location, they're about 5 minutes apart, that if we have two Masses going on, it'll help allow more people to attend the Mass. Okay, that's kind of the mentality behind this way of thinking here. Okay, so the idea is, and I know this is not going to work out perfectly. I know there's going to be people who are going to go right to Girardville, but the mindset, the mentality is to go to 4 o'clock Mass at Ashland first, and then if it's filled to capacity, then to go to St. Vincent's in Girardville for Mass that will start at 4:15. That's the idea. That's the mentality. Again, I know it's not going to be a perfect system. I know there's going to be people that are going to go right to the 4:15 Mass in Girardville. But it's an idea. We'll see how it works. That's why I'm kind of only making this temporary. And then we'll reevaluate, redo things, what we have to do. Okay, so then in Frackville, 5:30 and 5:45. So Annunciation Hall at 5:30. 5:45, weather permitting, we'll have Mass outside in the Grove. Okay, so I'll put a little table altar there on the stage. That's where I'll say Mass. We'll have to set up a sound system type of thing. We'll have to figure all that out. But again, that's the mentality. So now when we do the Mass outside, I'm going to ask that the parking spots behind the church where the Grove is, to reserve those for the elderly, handicap, where they can just sit in their cars and attend Mass in their cars. Those who are more vulnerable to the virus. The rest of us can then just scatter throughout the whole grove. Sit on my rectory lawn. Sit by where the food stand is. Sit in the trees where the fire is. Just spread out. Okay, all right. Spread out 6 feet apart, and again, weather permitting. So if it rains, thunderstorms, or if it's really intense heat, like 100 degrees, then we'll have it, unfortunately, in the church. Again, our problem in Frackville, St. Anne's, Annunciation, the churches are too small. It's hard to even do social distances in churches that are that small. Even the hall, when you see the hall set up, it's going to be a lot fewer chairs than what you're used to for Christmas and Easter. So, we used to put in a lot. Even in the hall, it's not as many as you think it's going to be. When you have all the chairs 6 feet apart type of thing. We have it broken up into sections. So like if a family comes, obviously they can sit in one section of chairs. But two people from two different households can't sit in the same section unless they're at the two ends. So two individual people can sit at one end and at one end of the other section, and then that's 6 feet apart. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do here. And then Sunday, the same type of thing, 8:30, St. Charles, 8:45, St. Vincent's, and then 10 a.m., Annunciation Hall, 10:15, Grove. I know we're kind of missing one Mass for Frackville. That's part of the evaluation process to see how this works out. Those types of things. We'll see how it works. If we have to add another Mass, maybe at like 11:30, I'll do that. If the crowds get to be too big type of thing. Okay, so I know this might upset some people. I know you love your Mass times, but look, we just spent the last 2 months not having any Mass at all. Okay, so I really ask and plead for just for your understanding and cooperation in all this. If it works, what I might do then in July, if we're still in this yellow phase, is then flip-flop. Do the 4 o'clocks at Frackville and the 5:30s, and then just keep flip-flopping every month. I know it might drive you nuts, but if I hear a large group of people say, no, just keep it what it is, we like it, it's fine, and then I'll do that. Okay. And then some other things which I think we're not going to be happy about, but we got to do it, especially that first one. Must wear a mask. So maybe many of you are used to it by now, going into stores and stuff like that. It is what it is. If we got to wear a mask. The priest won't wear a mask until he's given out communion. We should be far enough away from everybody. That also reminds me that at St. Charles, that little side cry room, we're going to have to shut that down. Okay, it's too small of a space. So we're just going to use just the main church area, and we're going to lock those doors to the cry room. No hymnals. Really, how are we going to sing with the mask on anyways? I just don't see how that's possible. Now the hymnals, it's about touching, but now I just saw the other day that apparently you can't get the virus through, or very unlikely through contaminated surfaces. So, these things change. I got to be careful here. I'm going public, but these things change every day, and it depends on who you talk to, right? Which doctors do you talk to? You're going to hear different things from different people. But now apparently it's not as risky to touch contaminated substance, material things. It's more through the air, breathing, and that type of thing. Communion is going to be after Mass. This allows people, if people don't feel comfortable receiving communion, you don't have to. Okay. One of the false notions we have of the church in America is that you always have to receive communion every time you go to Mass. Well, no, you don't. You only have to receive communion, believe it or not, one time a year. It's called the Easter duty. So the way the procedure will work is after Mass, will give you the final blessing. The priest will take off the vestments, sanitize the hands, wash the hands, then get communion, and then go back and then give communion to those that want to receive it. Again, we got to make sure we maintain our proper social distancing structures and stuff like that. On top of that, then there's going to be, for at least during this period of the yellow phase, no Eucharistic ministers and no altar servers, especially the altar servers because of their close contact proximity to the priests. They stand right next to me, wash my hands type of thing. So we're not going to have any altar servers during this time. Also, no taking up of the collection. Now, before you get excited, We're going to just have a basket in front of the church where you can go up after Mass and drop your envelopes in that basket. So, but there's not going to be any person walking up and down the aisle with the baskets. The doors and windows will be left open. Okay. Again, that won't be a big deal in Gerardville and Ashland because we don't have air conditioning anyways. In the hall, again, we're going to just try to have the doors open, the windows open, not have the AC on. Hopefully that'll work out fine. And again, another important part is because we love our Mass times and we love our particular pews. So we ask that there's going to be certain pews roped off. Again, in order to maintain a proper capacity, we ask that you don't use the pews that are roped off. Don't just remove the rope and sit yourself down there. Please don't do that. Very, I don't know, just disrespectful to others and what we're trying to do here. So I know it's your favorite pew, but again, just asking to make sacrifices here. In regards with the Mass time and in regards with the pews, I think those are the two most common things that we're going to do. So, any questions, just see me or email the office. I think I covered, there's a lot of other little things. Those are mostly the things I have to worry about. But as far as how Mass is going to go and stuff like that. But again, hopefully that helps. And I can't wait to see you guys on, June 1st. So again, June 1st, regular Mass schedule. For Frackville, Mass will be in the hall, okay, Annunciation Hall, not at St. Anne's, okay. And I'm going to do my best to try to have some sort of live stream and Mass keep going to do that as well, okay.